I smiled, but I was broken. Behind practiced calm expressions. Laughter hid carefully stitched cracks. Eyes learned convincing performances. Heart carried weight, invisibly. Soul bent, without public noise. Because strength became daily costume. Pain dressed itself politely. Suffering learned perfect manners. No one noticed. Silent collapse. Applause followed my composure. I mastered art of appearing fine even when shattered inside. Questions answered with rehearsed ease. How are you met smiles. Truth stayed locked behind ribs, protected by disciplined silence. Each grin cost inner currency. Energy drained, maintaining normalcy. Cheeks lifted while spirit sank. Balance demanded constant adjustment. Gravity pulled inward relentlessly. I carried storms behind eyes. UST easily. While reality deteriorated quietly. I smiled, but I was broken. Inside rooms without witnesses, where walls knew my name. Floors absorbed tired footsteps. Night received unfiltered truths. Darkness listened without judgment. I removed smile after sunset. Let face rest honestly. Pain stretched freely then, no longer constrained by etiquette. Breath deepened unevenly. Chest finally acknowledged weight. I smiled, but I was broken, because healing takes privacy. Wounds dislike public curiosity. Recovery needs unobserved patience. So, I guarded vulnerability fiercely and shared only strength publicly. Friends praised my resilience, called me strong admiringly. I accepted compliments politely, never correcting their assumptions. Strength looked different internally. It felt like endurance mostly. I smiled, but I was broken. Every smile carried memory. Of nights barely survived. Of mornings negotiated carefully. Of hope rationed daily. Of faith tested continuously. I learned smiling confuses pain. It delays difficult questions, buys time for survival, keeps world from pressing harder. Sometimes smiles are shields, not celebrations at all. I smiled, but I was broken. Even joy felt conditional. Happiness arrived with caution, never staying long enough. I welcomed it briefly. Before escorting it out gently, I became expert at balance. Apps becomes invisible, yet completely real internally. I stitch myself repeatedly. Confession. Never slipping into exposure. Control became survival instinct. Days demanded normal participation, so I participated convincingly well. Meetings attended, duties completed, laughter timed with conversations, eyes focused, hands steady. No one noticed inner collapse. I learned pain respects routine. If given structure and discipline, it stays contained obediently, doesn't spill into public spaces. Almasks. Less performative, more functional, enough to pass unnoticed, enough to keep distance, enough to avoid interrogation. Efficiency replaced enthusiasm. I chose solitude strategically. Not isolation, just selectivity. Crowds demanded too much energy. Small circles felt manageable. Silence offered controlled environment where healing could breathe slowly. I stopped explaining my quietness. Let people assume their theories. Misunderstanding required less effort than constant self-translation. Peace valued over being known. Eek, knowing when to leave. Joy reappeared unpredictably. Not explosive, more subtle. In music, in walking, in quiet cups of tea. In deep, uninterrupted sleep. In ordinary, peaceful moments, I didn't rush wholeness. Allowed mending at natural pace. Brokenness heals asymmetrically. Some days strong, others fragile. Progress doesn't move straight. It curves, pauses, returns. I stopped hiding completely, started choosing carefully. Instead, shared truth with safe souls who listened without fixing. Presence mattered more than advice. Being seen healed deeply. I learned not every crack requires immediate repair. Some teach flexibility first, others demand rest before repair. Listening became essential skill, healing improved with patience. I speak from quiet strength, not from untouched privilege. Royalty doesn't cancel feeling, it sharpens responsibility and restraint. I learned early to smile while carrying unspoken storms. Crowds see composed posture. They never hear internal thunder. I walk with measured steps because many eyes follow, but hearts still break privately, even beneath crowns and cameras. I loved with guarded depth, yet feeling still found entry. Love ignores status and structure. It reaches where it chooses. I learned silence is discipline, not weakness or emotional absence. Silence protects dignity deeply. When words might betray balance, the desert taught me patience. Sand survives storms quietly. It shifts, never resists blindly. Strength adapts without complaint. I have watched nights alone, under endless Emirati skies. Stars witness truths unshared. They keep secrets faithfully. Leadership demands emotional control, but control doesn't mean emptiness. It means carrying weight steadily without transferring pain downward. I learned pain must be refined, not displayed carelessly or loudly. Emotion becomes dangerous, unmanaged. Wisdom teaches containment first. I loved someone sincerely once. Without strategy or protection, that love taught vulnerability's cost, and strength's deeper definition. Loss arrived without permission, as it always does, honestly. It didn't ask about position, it only tested endurance. I stood upright publicly, while privately relearning breath. That duality shapes character, more than applause ever could. Royal blood doesn't avoid tears, it learns where to shed them. Some tears fall internally, never touching public ground. I learned hearts don't obey titles, wealth, or legacy. They respond to presence, to effort, consistency, truth. The UAE taught me balance between tradition and progress, between emotion and obligation, between heart and duty. I walk between worlds daily, one of discipline and protocol, another of longing and memory. Both demand loyalty and respect. Love taught me humility quietly. It reminded me I'm human. Before I am anything else, before symbols, before stories, I learned letting go gracefully is harder than holding tightly. Anyone can cling desperately. Few can release with honor. I did not beg fate. I accepted its instruction. Resistance insults destiny's intelligence. Acceptance aligns you with growth. I learned solitude sharpens clarity. Palaces still echo when empty. Walls don't replace connection, they only magnify silence. Night drives clear my mind. Dubai lights blur behind me. Speed gives illusion of escape, but feelings travel faster always. I speak softly to pain, as one speaks to fire. Controlled, it provides warmth. Uncontrolled, it destroys kingdoms. I learned respect must remain, even after emotional departure. Bitterness stains legacy permanently. Grace preserves it eternally. Royal love must be clean, free from chaos and spectacle. If love disturbs inner order, it threatens external responsibility. I learned timing governs everything. Love, loss, power, peace. Arriving early feels wrong. Arriving late feels cruel. Faith anchors me silently, not loudly or performatively. Faith steadies uncertain ground. When logic reaches its limits, I carry my nation's hope alongside personal history. Both require discipline daily. Neither allows emotional collapse. I learned strength isn't hardness, it's controlled tenderness protected, softness guarded by wisdom. not sacrifice to illusion. I speak to broken hearts. From experience, not theory. Pain equalizes all humans, regardless of crown or class. If I sound calm always, it's because storms passed already. Calm is not ignorance, it's earned through survival. I learned dignity outlives desire, impulse fades, honor remains. Choose actions that age well. Legacy listens longer than emotions. I loved deeply, quietly. I lost respectfully, silently. I healed patiently, privately. This is royal endurance. I learned composure is practice, not absence of emotional waves. Feelings rise without invitation. Control decides how they land. Royal paths allow no collapse, only recalibration behind curtains. I learned to pause internally. Before the world notices change, every decision carries weight. Beyond the personal desire or comfort, my heart learned responsibility early. Before it learned rest, I watch people from distance, not arrogance, but awareness. Closeness requires emotional safety. Not everyone understands restraint. Love inside royalty walks carefully. One wrong step echoes loudly. So affection learns patience, and longing learns silence. I learned to observe intentions, more than words or promises. Consistency reveals truth slowly. Time exposes every mask eventually. The desert reminds me daily that beauty survives harshness, that endurance creates elegance, and patience outlives intensity. I learned grief respects privacy. It visits unannounced at night. Daylight demands discipline instead. Public strength is non negotiable. Some nights feel heavier still. Despite years of inner training, memory doesn't obey rank. It follows attachment honestly. I learned to sit with ache without